So, mush. I know.
Right.
Nobody wants it. No one's going to fight for
Guaranteed
it other
negative
than to get
13.
it out of. Oh man,
Right.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
That
So
works
I can.
well. We're on vacation, which is
Very much
fantastic. Our last two days was all big staff meetings, so we got the whole staff together.
Yeah, we had about 50 people together, and we tried a brand new game.
Yeah, I mean, he runs a lot of the meetings,
Right.
and oftentimes we're testing out, because we work at a Christian youth camp, and we test out new games. And this latest one kind of explain what we did.
It's like 50 players. We're playing on a board that is 4 feet by 8 feet. I'm sorry.
It's huge.
It's huge. And you got all these little Lego guys and their Lego characters. And we called it Canoe Wars. And man,
it was a blast. It was a ton of politics.
Yeah.
You get one action a day. You're trying to sink each other's boats.
Yeah. So if anybody looks up tank tactics on Google,
that's the original. Right?
That was our starting point, and we changed it all up from that.
We added teams and rivals and allies.
Right. Yeah. Kind of who you love, who you hate, and
either way, it was 2 days of this
Yes,
game, and
yes.
in the midst of pretty intense meetings.
Yeah.
So we're brain dead, right? Our brains are mush. They're gone.
So we want to play like a simple game. Well, it's not a simple game, but it's like real easy to set up, fast.
Right, and it's at least going to give our brains a little bit of a break.
And you probably have never heard of it.
If you have heard of it, please let us know, because there's not very many people have it. It's a little gem.
Yeah,
we really want to share with you.
Love it. So
before we get started, though,
once again, we've already told them we're buying it.
Oops. We just had someone, which was really helpful. I forget their name. They did gave us some helps and just things we could do to improve the channels. And they talked about our organization and
Eric. I think Eric is his name. Yeah.
Kind of structuring better, and we appreciate the comment. We really think we should improve our structure,
but we didn't.
But we didn't. So sorry. We'll try to work on it in the future.
Okay, so this game is called Grimm. Only place you can get the game is on Park and Parade. $14. It was Kickstarter originally, and I've talked with the guy who made it, and I've just really enjoyed it. So let's explain a little bit of how it plays. So I've got my cards.
And I've got my cards, and our cards, they're identical.
Now, some of my cards do some different things. 1 and 2, they do the same thing. 3 is a cat and mouse, and I can play that one. I can play cat and mouse only one time. That's when I get to play the cat, and I get to play another card playing as the mouse. The 4 plays just like a 4. The 5, if 2 gooses are played at the same time that my 5 is played, now my fox is worth 0. So I got to pay attention to that. 6, the highest card that doesn't have anything odd going on. 7 is the card, that's the stepsister, and it's worth 7 unless a dove is played, and then the dove is worth 8. If there's no stepsister played, the dove is worth 0.
So you might be sitting there and you're like, great, 1 through 8. What do I do with
How
that?
hard
What does
can
that
it
mean?
be?
Well,
Yep.
basically what happens is you're going to go through a row, just a single row of cards. And we started with this card. This is the dwarf. What we're trying to do is we're fighting to gain that card. It's got some victory points on it. It's got some combos with other cards that are out here. So what we'll do is we'll each pick a card and we'll place it face down. Everyone at the table selects a card. Once we've all selected a card, we flip it over. I played a 7, he played a 4, I win the card,
Okay.
I take those points. We're going to keep playing a card out of our hands. Once we've played it, it goes off to the side. Whoever played the highest gains the card. You are slowly going to run out of options. So what you're doing is you're trying to gauge, where am I going to play my high cards? Where am I going to play my low cards so that I can maximize this round? Now, I may look at this round and be like, there's not much here that I want, but I'm going to go after the witch. I'm going to go after Gretel, and now he knows. He knows I need Hansel. If I don't get Hansel, I'm going to lose a lot of points. So it creates kind of a unique structure on which to make decisions.
Yeah, so let's imagine that he's got 3 dwarves. He's got the prince now. I've got the witch and Gretel, and I've got a princess. He needs another princess in order. That card's worth 0 unless he can get a princess. Now,
Same thing goes for the princess.
Right, so I need a prince. There's 2 sets out there. Now we flip over all these cards. We see what is going on. Gold, 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 dwarf. I know he wants dwarf. I can't keep letting him have those. I see Hansel. I know I need Hansel. I mean, I need Hansel really bad because I'm negative 13. Otherwise, he knows he can really hurt me with that. And that's where this game gets really interesting because my highest card is this dove. But the only way that it's a high card
is if I play
he plays his stepsister.
And I
Otherwise,
know,
it's a 0.
And since I know that he's after Hansel, there's no way I'm playing a stepsister because he'll easily trump me with his dove. This part of the video gets a little confusing. We're trying to explain card interactions and we do just an abysmal job. So we're just gonna skip that part and we'll get right back into it, eh?
Oops.
Then I lose. We did a terrible job of explaining. Just know that little interaction between, it's kind of a game of chicken. What card am I going to play? Well, and is it going to work? What card is he going to play? And is it going to be higher or lower? How do I choose?
Okay, so this is why here's my first pro on this game, is that I am playing his mind more than this game. That is so much. When Bodie and I play this game, when we have 4 people at the game, I'm like, no. I think to myself, I know he's going to play that, so that's what I wanted to play, but I'm not going to play. But he knows that I would probably. Is he going to bail out of it, or am I going to...
It's a constant, like, guesswork, but it's based on a lot of information, but also someone may just completely subvert. So I may sit here with the 3 dwarves, and everyone's saying, oh, he's going after dwarves. I can completely change my strategy. Because I know people think I'm going after dwarves,
right.
I could ignore dwarves and suddenly go after princess and princes. And suddenly people are like, we thought you were going after dwarves. I know!
Right. So the bidding system, although it is very simple... It is also really, like, what are you going to do?
Quite a bit of consternation. And I know we opened this with, like, oh, we're looking for a brain break. But in the same breath, because it's such a short game, it's like 15, 20 minutes, rarely plays long. There's not much you can... I mean, it just plays until you run out of cards. It's a very set kind of time frame that's going to play in. It's really easy to play this game 3 times in an hour and have a lot of fun trying different strategies and then playing each other from the last game. Like, oh, you thought I was going after this, what I did last time, but I'm going to switch it up. It just plays so well.
If we both bid the same card, so
ties.
Say both of us bid the same card on that one. Now that card moves up. And the next round, when that's turned over, it becomes now a maiden and gold. If we tied again, it would go up again.
That's a huge pile of points.
Right.
And it's the crazy part, it's the front end of that whole round. So there may be a really good card down here, but everybody knows we need it's so fun to try to play the table and almost bluff your way into getting points or try to fly under the radar, picking up gold the whole time, and no one's really paying attention to you.
It really is I like that little part of it where you go up to it.
Final thing is if it ties at the end, you lose all the points. They're gone. No one gets them.
Nobody gets them. Which is a great strategy.
Yeah. Sorry, before you keep going.
Go ahead.
We need to grab our...
We've gone this whole way...
We haven't even...
We haven't got our Pepsi.
I know, we haven't opened our Pepsi yet.
Little break right here because we've got to start with drinking.
We've added something to the whole set. We've got a little Pepsi fridge because of this very reason.
Right.
Talking too much and we forget.
We got all excited about the game.
And I completely interrupted you, and I have no idea. You may not even remember.
I don't even know where I'm
what
going
you were going to say.
because I now have my Pepsi in my hand. Sorry, Eric. We once again our structure.
Eric's never going to watch again.
Right. He's going to be like, nope. These guys
are hopeless.
I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm done. For me, I love that that the player count is solid 2, 3, and 4. Mm-hmm. The game with 4, so many ties, so many things going up, and you can't remember. Well, I can't remember everything. Those of you who can count cards, you're great at this. But I can't remember. I think, I think he played that, and I think he played that. You're playing 4 different rounds. You start to understand what all the different players are doing, but you're trying to pay attention to who's winning and who's losing. And so I love 4, but I also love 2. It's just my brain against his brain. There's not all this chance. What is he really trying to do?
The reality of it is the variables don't change too much in the game. Like it runs the risk of being a little too simplistic or a little too one-dimensional. What takes this game from a one-dimensional game to a three-dimensional game is the player count and the people you bring.
Yep.
And so part of me just wants to play with this with certain players that we know, because I know that when I play with that person, they're going to choose some stuff I just can't predict.
Right. But if you put a 6-year-old at the table, they get to play by playing a card, and that's like this whole...
It's almost the fun of like, there's no strategy. We don't know what they're going to do.
We don't know what they're going to do. They're just like, they're not the computer playing, but they are playing even more randomly than the computer would play. But that's just, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with whatever... they don't have a rhyme or reason. The guy who put the game together really put it together based on game theory, risk and reward, bid for that. What do I get back for it? And it's kind of one of those games, a little bit like Secret Hitler for social deduction, where they just boiled everything down to just the basics.
Similar to even, we just played Furnace. Loved that game.
Yeah, yep.
It's an engine builder that it seems like they took the engine building mechanic and they just kept running it through a strainer, run it through the boiler, run it through a strainer again. We need just core. What does engine building do well? And that's kind of this game. What is a bidding, trick-taking game?
Yep.
What's the core of that makes it fun? And it just does it really elegantly. And
You got a pro or con?
You kind of mentioned it. You got to drink for a moment. I think for me, it's the fun of sitting at a table, looking around the table, trying to read what everyone's going to do and why they're going to do it. And in addition to that, it's not just reading players. There's a bit of press your luck. So for the witch is a great example of that. The witch being negative 13 points or positive 13 points. There's a bit of me when I start playing this game that goes, I haven't seen Hansel and Gretel yet, but I'm going to take the risk of going after the witch because I can win it easily.
Yeah. And sometimes when the witch plays late, I can be like, you know what? I'm going to take Hansel. Nobody really wants Hansel. He's only 3 points. But if I get Hansel and Gretel straight up, now I'm playing a little game of chicken. I'm going to get that witch for cheap because nobody
wants it. No one's going to fight for
guaranteed
it.
Negative
than
13.
to get it out of. Oh man,
right?
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
That
So I can steal a huge card for a low bid. Still get a big card in that round because I took Hansel and Gretel early. But you don't know if Hansel and Gretel are going to show up like
this. Really is the pro of this game. Those point combos of these cards and how they interact with each other. It's really a game of interactions between cards. What did you? Wow!
Oh, I almost got him.
I died over here.
I had to give it a whirl. He's been bothering us. Yeah, it's like it's a different game.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you reveal the first 7, it's not like you're revealing one at a time. You're like, oh, I want that and want that. And then when I have all of this, okay, and now this whole reveal again is like, oh man. And then the order of where it's at and what's happening, you can switch strategies midway through. And even if I know his strategy, I don't know what his strategy is going to be at the beginning of the game. And he might bluff one way, go a different way, trying to force me to play some high cards. So the whole bidding system, knowing a fourth of the game, but not knowing the whole game, and then the order, I really like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but we love this game. It's got to have some problems, right?
It does.
So what would be one of your cons?
My biggest one, and I know this is going to sound really dumb, but these 2 cards right here, the cat and the fox, I don't know how many times I've played the wrong one. Now
it's the art.
Yeah, the art. The tail goes the same way, and I know there's a little mouse over here, and I shouldn't have that much trouble. I'll even struggle with that.
And that's not
those
the only
3 cards.
And I think if that was the only problem with kind of the design, it would be okay. But there are, for me, a number of other things that I don't love about the graphic design. Like if this got a reprint, I would be so happy. It's the explanation of how this card scores and even the title, and it just gets pretty messy and not very clear. So when you glance at the board, it's not clear. You know, it's not clear what you're looking at.
For me, I wish that gold was just a little bit bigger. I wish I could read that from it sitting on the table. I can't do it. I have to bring it up to me.
Probably another con for me is I don't think you can lose the game in the first round, but after that first round, 1 or 2 mistakes, they can sink you pretty bad. And what mitigates that is it's a short game. So it's not like, oh, I just wasted this many hours of my life.
5 minutes to learn, 30 minutes to play. And 30 minutes to play is plenty of time.
There's a couple cards in here like the witch. There's a couple mistakes you can make, cards you can miss that That'll mess you up, and you
Yeah.
can't really come back from it.
I'm gonna play a pro con here. It's a flip side of the coin. When you haven't played this game very much, you forget what the cat and mouse is. You don't realize it takes a few plays for people to understand how to play cat and mouse.
And you can only do it once.
You can only do it once. So you're normally playing the cat normal, and in the back of your mind, I'm an experienced player, so I know I'm going to play it 4th round or something like that. And then a player I forgot about that. And you can feel that like, oh, it was like a new rule that got added. And even if I said we've not been doing it regularly, and we've played long enough that they forget.
And
So
it becomes so powerful because there's nothing that can beat it.
Yeah.
If you play a 6 and a cat and mouse, nothing at the table beats it.
Yeah.
And that's an odd thing in a game full of interactions that can cancel each other out. It's fun. Like, I like it.
Again, I think it's just hard on the new players.
And it's the fact that it's one time in a game.
Yep.
So
Yep.
everything else is one time in a round. Cat
Yep.
and mouse is one time in a game. So
Yep.
timing it becomes like this kind of crux point of the game, which is hard to time and measure. And
So
do right.
I hope you can see why we would say it's a con, but at the same time I say all of that, I love that that's in there.
Yeah.
Like it's a pro.
Like, don't
it's a
get
good,
rid of it.
Right. It's a good little wrinkle. Don't house rule it out.
Yeah.
Just know that there'll be a couple times where it's like you feel like you won the game because I just knew the game too well.
This is my final con, and it's not necessarily a con. I just wish it had an expansion. This game feels like it's ripe for more cards, a whole new set, an alternate pack, because it's just so fun, and there's so many possibilities with this core trick-taking mechanic to keep swapping out what kinds of cards throw up, or like, oh, we're going to add this type of card, and it has this kind of combo system. I just wish there was more game here. Because it is so fun. And if I could just get one more box, just a couple more cards, I would be happy.
My last comment here before we get to the final is I love the fact that this isn't, a big board game company or something like that. This is a guy who loves board games who put this together. He did a good job. The box is great. The rule book is deep. For a guy who just put this together.
He sent out a misprint. Not even him. It was the company that printed it, misprinted something. And he...
He's been very helpful.
Really helpful.
And I've bought several games from him because it's $14.
You can't.
I don't know what the shipping is, but it's $14. This is a stocking stuffer. I don't know. Like it's just you've gotta buy it.
I mean, just support the guy. Just because I want him to make more games. If this is a taste of what kind of games he can make, man, if he could make another one, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, I just want 4 or 5 of them because they're such an easy. When I travel, this is probably one that I pull out.
Very similar to like Regicide.
Yeah, the Regicide when Regicide came up, it was like okay. But when I pulled this back out, I'm like, oh, Regicide. They go both ways.
When you think about it, Regicide and Grimm are kind of the perfect combination. Regicide being your cooperative and this being a really good competitive game. Man, that's just a great back pocket. Throw it in your backpack.
Yeah.
So,
buy, borrow, or bust.
It's a buy. It's just we can't walk away from all of
it's
those.
Buy 2 of them. It's $28.
Buy 5, give them away.
It will bring some happiness to you.